Good evening. In non-Dolphins related news, after the Super Bowl, the Kansas City Chiefs will be hosting a parade in which they're encouraging every Kansas City fan to attend. Before you attend, you're told to stop at any grocery store or gas station in the Kansas City area and pick up your complimentary yellow flag to be thrown at the parade. Oh, it kill me. Dolphins fans, thank you for checking out my channel. I appreciate it. As always, it's a big help just having views and likes and comments. So if you see something you want to talk about when we're going through this information, please comment. Tell me what you think. I always answer. I read every comment, so I appreciate it. Um, I did a live stream a couple weeks ago where I talked about keep or kick for all the players on the team, talked about free agency and what we had in free agency this year, and what we had to resign and all that. And I went pretty in depth with it all. So I'm not going to go too much into that, but I wanted to make a video where I kind of cover all the happenings that have gone on since the end of the season and kind of where we stand right now. Uh, I would encourage you to go back and look at that live stream about keep and kick and the free agency needs. But with that, I still want to get into all this. So I'm going to start with our coaching situation. Uh, we did have, as most of you know, if you've been living under a rock, you don't. But we did lose a couple coaches, and we gained a couple coaches, and more importantly, a coach that I like very much looks like he's going to end up staying, and I couldn't be happier. Anthony Weaver is likely going to stay on with the Dolphins as defensive coordinator, barring some kind of crazy thing happening. He did interview with the Saints twice, and it looked like he had a good chance to get that head coaching job. However, it does seem with new developments that Kellen Moore is going to be their guy for the Saints job, and I really feel like we're doing Anthony Weaver a huge favor by him not ending up with the Saints. That is not a desirable job. They have the worst cap situation in the NFL by far, and it's just not a lot of good things going on there. And as a Dolphins fan saying that, that should tell you the kind of situation that they're in over there in New Orleans. So I'm happy that Anthony Weaver is likely going to be staying. We need that man. He is a great coach. He's a leader of men, as a lot of people like to say. And like I said, it doesn't get old to say that because it's 100% true. I want to give him this offseason, and I want to see what he can do with this defense now that he's had some time to establish his system. And now it's all about players being familiar with it and expanding upon their responsibilities within that defense. So this is the fine-tuning year for Anthony Weaver's defense, and I think it's going to work out well. Like I said, it's the NFL, you never know, but from where I'm sitting and from what I'm seeing, Anthony Weaver is the man that we need as our defensive coordinator to improve and move forward with this defense. So I'm happy to have him back. I'm happy that he's going to stay. Danny Crossman, thank goodness, has been fired, obviously, as our special teams coach. And like I said, it needed to happen a few years ago. So great there. I'm happy about it. The hire that they replaced him with, it's meh. I mean, and at this point, we had the 30th and 32nd ranked, 30th through 32nd ranked special teams in the NFL the last 4 years. And anything is an improvement over what Danny Crossman was doing with our special teams. Anything. So having Craig Ackerman as our new special teams coordinator, I think this is not a star-studded move. This is not oh my goodness, we hired Craig Ackerman. It's not like that. It is an improvement. He coached with Tennessee as their special teams coordinator for 5 years, plus another couple as an assistant special teams coordinator. like I said, nothing special there. He was very middle of the road. His special teams was 14th through 18th ranked in the NFL all the years that he was there. So nothing super special, but definitely an improvement and middle of the road. Um, I'm okay with giving him a chance as special teams coordinator. He was out of the NFL last year. And who knows, maybe that break gave him a chance to kind of lock some things down and figure some stuff out. So, uh, Craig Ackerman, welcome to the Dolphins, and I hope that you have nothing but success. As for any coach or player on this team, whether I like them or not, I want them to succeed. Because why? Well, because I'm a Dolphins fan. And if there's players on this team, I never want them to fail. So, Craig Ackerman, good luck to you, buddy. I hope that you can turn some things around for our special teams. They've been very weak on our teams, so I hope you can do something with them, and I'd love to see it. So good luck to you, and I'll be watching. I want to see how he does. But that's Craig Ackerman, our new special teams coordinator. A definite improvement over Danny Croftsman. Of course, any player or any coach that we had that we brought in as a special teams coordinator would be an improvement over Danny Croftsman just based on performance alone. I'm not saying personality-wise, I'm sure Danny Croftsman is a great guy, but from performance as a coach, Danny Croftsman was terrible, and any coach is an improvement over that. So I look forward to our special teams improving next year. The other one that we did have was Wes Welker was let go as our wide receiver coach, and he's being replaced by Robert Prince. Now, Robert Prince, this one I'm excited about. And, well, why are you excited about this guy? I don't even know who that is. Well, Robert Prince has been in the NFL as a coach for 40 plus years. That's a long time. He's got a lot of experience with a bunch of different teams. Now, let's look at this. Let's just look at his coaching career here. He started as a coach in 1989 at Humboldt State University. He coached there for 2 years, and then he moved to Montana State in 1991 as a graduate assistant. Then he went with this is his first promotion here when he went to Sacramento State from 1992 to 93 as a wide receivers coach. From there, in 1994 and 1995, he was the offensive coordinator / quarterbacks coach for Fort Lewis University. Then he moved to Portland State in 1998 as a wide receivers coach, and that's where you see a jump in the level of collegiate football he was coaching under. So Portland State, offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach from 1999 to 2000. Then he went to Boise State, where he coached for 2 years as the wide receivers coach. Then in 2003, he became the pass game coordinator for Boise State. After that season in 2003, this is when he jumped to the NFL. He was the offensive assistant, running backs coach, and tight ends coach for the Atlanta Falcons in 2004 and 2005. Then after that year or 2 years with Atlanta, he took a job with Atlanta again, but this time as the assistant quarterbacks coach. So moving into a different position. Then he went to Jacksonville in 2007 and 2008 as a wide receivers coach. Then he took a job with Seattle in 2009 as a wide receivers coach. And then for a few years in 2010 to 2013, he jumped back to the collegiate level and was a pass game coordinator and a wide receivers coach for Boise State and Colorado. After 2013, he took a job with the Detroit Lions as a wide receivers coach, and he stayed there for 6 years. After he was the wide receivers coach for those 6 years, in 2020, he took the acting head coach job for the Lions for a while there at the end of the season. Then, the Houston Texans signed him in 2021 as a wide receivers coach. And in 2022 through 2024, he was the wide receivers coach for the Dallas Cowboys. Now, in 2024, he was the wide receivers coach of the year in the NFL with the Dallas Cowboys. He's a good coach. He's got a lot of experience. And I am looking forward to seeing what he does with our wide receiver room, especially with the attitude, because this is not the type of football coach that puts up with attitude. He's very demanding of performance and being present. So the things that we're having issues with in the locker room, he doesn't put up with. I'm very excited to have Robert Prince on this team, and I think he's going to do a good job. So thank you, Robert Prince, for coming to the Dolphins, and I hope that you have nothing but success as always. Those two coaching moves, one of them's kind of meh, with Ackerman, but like I said, it is what it is. I think that he's going to be okay. Robert Prince, I know, will do a good job. I did like Wes Welker, but I feel like perhaps it's hard because I'm a fan of Wes Welker, and I try not to get the fandom confused with the coaching. I feel like he's got some things to learn as a coach, and I feel like maybe he wasn't as much of a nail driver as he needed to be coaching some of these players that we have. So good luck to Wes Welker, and Robert Prince, good luck to you, buddy. Thank you for joining the team, and I hope you have a lot of success. The other thing I wanted to talk about with the coaching situation is, and I'm not too worried about a lot of the other things happening with the coaches. The one thing that concerns me is Darrell Bevell. Now, Darrell Bevell, for those of you that don't know, he's our QB coach and our pass game coordinator. He's a good coach, and there's teams that want him to be promoted and to move into other positions with their teams. He is likely going to be moving to the Raiders and taking the offensive coordinator job with the Las Vegas Raiders. Pete Carroll is he used to coach under Pete Carroll, and Pete Carroll got the job as the head coach with the Raiders, and I'm pretty sure that he's going to end up signing with Pete Carroll and the Raiders and be their offensive coordinator. So that's going to leave one more vacancy that the Dolphins are going to have to work out. We're going to need a QB coach and a pass game coordinator. And it's hard because he's a great coach. Everybody loves him. The QB room respects him greatly, and he's done a fantastic job with Tua and with our pass game. This year was a different monster, so I'm not going to get too much into that, but he is a good coach. And his presence is going to be felt when he leaves. So I'm hoping something happens and he doesn't go anywhere, but he's likely going to end up with the Las Vegas Raiders, so be prepared for that, Dolphins fans. We're going to end up looking for another coach here before the season starts. So keep that in mind. That's where we're at with our coaching situation. It's not too bad. It is a bummer about Darrell Bevell because I do like him. And we could see another coach hit the wall. There's a chance that, our lineman coach could be hitting the wall and getting out of here, but I doubt it's going to happen. I think he's here to stay for now. The other thing I wanted to touch on here, I know it's going to be a little bit longer of a video as we get through this, but most of my videos are about half an hour. It is what it is. If you don't want to watch the whole thing, click off. See you later. Thanks for watching. But I do appreciate those of you that do stick by and stick around for the end of these videos. Before the free agency and the draft, which are both coming up here, obviously in the offseason, before all that happens, there are some players that I wanted to talk about really quick that are likely going to be gone from the Miami Dolphins. Players that we're either not going to re-sign or that are going to go sign with somebody else or that are just going to end up getting traded or dumped off. And some of these players might hurt our feelings. A couple of them I don't want to see go, but it's going to happen. And we need to prepare ourselves for that. So our likely gone list, brace yourselves. It's not as bad as you think it might be, but it's a little disconcerting. So here we go. These players are likely going to be gone for next season. The first one on the list is the one that a lot of people might disagree with, but I can pretty much guarantee that he's going to end up signing with another team. First of all, Javon Holland played pretty bad last year. And the other thing you need to think about is every year that he's played with the Dolphins, he's gotten progressively worse every year. And last year was a contract year for him, and it seems like he was making decisions based on that during games. He wasn't seeking out tackles. He wasn't making the plays. He was trying to keep himself healthy. And I think that was in preparation for the fact that he knew he wasn't going to get the contract that he wanted with Miami, and he's preparing himself for negotiations with other teams, and he wanted to make sure he was healthy to do that. So Javon Holland is likely going to re-sign with another team, and that's going to leave us a hole. We'll talk about the holes in a second here. Calais Campbell, he's almost 40 years old, and he's likely going to want to sign with a team that has a better chance of making the Super Bowl next year. If he signs with anybody, he very well could retire as well. And we can't hold that against him because he's a fantastic player and he deserves a shot. He deserves a shot at his Super Bowl, ladies and gentlemen. And realistically, as Dolphins fans, we want to go to the Super Bowl. We want to win a Super Bowl. But are we really there yet? I don't think so. So I think that he'll likely sign with somebody else on a one-year contract, but we'll see. Liam Eichenberg, if he's not gone, he should be gone. And I hope to goodness that he ends up going and moving on. I don't see any way that we're going to re-sign him. I don't see us keeping him on. If we do keep him on, you're looking at a 9th or a 10th ranked lineman on our team. So I think he's going to end up signing with somebody else. Isaiah Wynn likely going to retire. He was talking about it all year, and I see that happening. So Isaiah Wynn, happy trails. Good luck to you. I have no ill will against Isaiah Wynn. I just don't see him playing again this year. D. Eskridge, he's going to be gone. Julian Hill, I think that he should be gone. He's likely going to end up being gone. This was kind of a last chance thing for him this year, and he failed. He wasn't the worst player on the team. He certainly wasn't the worst tight end on the team, and that's saying something. But I do not think that he's going to re-sign with the Dolphins. I think we're going to be going through a tight end renaissance this year, and I think that some of these tight ends are going to be gone, including number 7, Durham Smythe. Durham Smythe deserves to go. He did nothing well this year. He did not catch the ball well. He didn't run routes well. He didn't block well. He didn't do anything well this year. Durham Smythe should be cut before Julian Hill does. But I think they both should go. I just think Durham Smythe played worse than Julian Hill. With Julian Hill, all the penalties and everything else, all the holding calls, I still think Durham Smythe was worse. Jeff Wilson Jr., I don't want to see him go, but he's likely going to end up being let go along with Raheem Mostert. I really, really would like to see Raheem Mostert stay. But the fact of the matter here is we have our number 1 and number 2 running backs. And Raheem Mostert would likely be a third-string running back, and I don't think he wants that. Raheem Mostert is older, but he is still a good running back and could likely start for a handful of teams in the NFL. So knowing that, I feel like he might end up re-signing with another team or getting traded. Jordan Poyer, he's going to retire. He's done. Jordan Poyer is going to be done for the year. So those are the players that we're likely not going to have back this year. And there are some players that are left off the list that are kind of question marks. I mean, Tyreek Hill, are we going to trade him? Are we going to, who knows? But it's not enough information on those to be like, yeah, we're probably going to let him go. But these 10 players are likely going to be gone. And we should start planning for that. Well, how do we plan? Well, we have a couple ways to do that. We have free agency, we have the draft, and we need to make a needs list. I made a needs list. Let's get rid of that likely gone list. And I'm going to pull this list up that's going to be the needs that our team has. And this isn't really, up for discussion. These are all things that if you're a Dolphins fan and you watch football, this list should make absolute 100% sense to you. This list is not in any particular order, so don't start adding me with, so how could you say that's more important than I did not? I'm not saying any of it's more important. The only thing that I'm saying is the most important out of all of it is our lineman positions that we need. That's the most important. All the other stuff is, it's stuff we need, but there's no important level, okay? Here we go. Here's our needs list. Let's start at the top. Those first 3 positions are the most important. That's why they're at the top. Other than that, everything else is out of order. 2 guards, 1 center, and 2 tackles. Absolutely have to have it. Have to have it. The 2 guards, you could get 1 from the draft and 1 from free agency. In fact, I would hope that that's the way they do it. I hope that they definitely draft a guard in the draft, or 2. But at minimum, we need 2 guards, and one of those really needs to be a free agent, someone with experience, someone in that $8 to $10 million a year range. Someone who's serviceable, plays well, and could start for this team right off the bat. Also, we need a center. I recommend going the exact opposite route as Aaron Brewer. I'm not saying anything bad about Aaron Brewer. He was a bright spot on our offensive line this year. But he's a small guy, and he has a hard time moving players. So I think that if we go for a beastly big center, someone that we can work with and train, get a center out of the draft. There's going to be a lot of good linemen this year in the draft. Get a center off the draft. We also need 2 tackles. These 2 tackles that we need aren't as important as the guards, but they are things that we're going to need in the future, and we should start planning for right now. This is called depth, something that we have never had at offensive line, at least recently, and this would be something good to have. To start now with 2 tackles. Pick one up in free agency, a serviceable one, and get one out of the draft, or get 2 out of the draft and a free agent. But the point of the matter is we need 5 offensive linemen this year. Definitely. Number 4, we need a tight end. This is somebody we could get out of the draft easy. There's a few good tight ends in the draft, including Jason Taylor's son. If you're a Dolphins fan and you don't know who Jason Taylor is, I question your fandom. Jason Taylor's son plays a lot the same way, just a different position, different side of the ball, but he's still a Taylor. And I would love to have somebody like that as a tight end on our team. So definitely need a tight end. And keep in mind, these are all things that we can get from free agency, from some trading. We have some trade bait this year, from free agency, trading, or from the draft. Number 5, a second or a third string quarterback. Now, I say second or third string because I really feel like Tyler Huntley should be our third string quarterback. And I think that we should look to free agency for a good second string quarterback. Not a great one. You're not going to find anything like that. But somebody who could go into a game, manage it, and not lose it for us. Oh, pardon me. So a second or third string quarterback, preferably a free agent in the second string variety, would be my goal if I was the one making the decisions. But I mean, who knows? Number 6, we need a tall, strong wide receiver. Somebody that can go up and get a 50-50 ball. Somebody that can take the ball away from some of these smaller corners in the league. Someone who's not going to get destroyed on press coverage. We need somebody like that. It doesn't have to be our first option, but we do need a strong, tall wide receiver. And there's going to be some in the draft. There's also probably going to be a couple of them in free agency. So we have the ability. We just need to do it. I hope that Chris Greer's list of needs looks something like this. I guarantee you, if they took this list, and I'm not like tooting my own horn here, but if they took this list and used this as the basis for what they're looking for in this offseason, we would be immensely better next year. Especially if they put an effort around those first 3 needs at the top of this list. If they focused on that, holy cow, we would be good. But I digress. So, number 7, a third or fourth string running back. Like I said, we're going to probably lose a couple running backs this year. We're set with our running backs for number 1 and number 2. I'm pretty sure of it. I really think that a third or fourth string running back would be another good idea. Ideally, you would get this out of the draft. In the later rounds of the draft, I think that would be a good idea. Number 8, 2 safeties. This is an important one. Safeties are important, and we're going to lose a couple. We're losing Jordan Poyer, and we're losing Javon Holland. With that, we definitely need to get 2 safeties. I would highly, highly suggest not looking to the draft necessarily for safeties. I really think the way to go here is to look to free agency for our safeties. There's going to be a bunch available. They're relatively inexpensive, and we could get them for a couple $1 million a year each. And that would be a great way to go. So, 2 safeties, need them, got to have them. Number 9, this is just as important. We need 2 defensive tackles or nose guards. Need them. Big guys. Space takers. Guys that aren't going to get moved. Guys that can occupy gaps. 2 defensive tackles or nose guards. Somebody who can play alongside our defensive tackles. Somebody who could sit next to Sealer and just take up that whole interior defensive line. Someone who could take on a double team and win. We need those. You're going to have to look in the draft for at least one. Have to. They're going to be there. We just got to take what's there. So come that 13th draft pick, if we have one of the really good defensive tackle / nose guards sitting there at 13, this would almost be worth using our 13th pick on. Most of the offensive linemen they're going to be making it to later on in the draft, so we don't have to necessarily take our 13th pick and use it on the offensive line. I wouldn't be upset if we did. I would be totally okay with that, but we don't have to. Number 10, we're going to need probably one cornerback. Definitely look into the draft for this. This is something we can get late rounds in the draft, and this is a depth piece, but it's somebody we're going to need. And the same with number 11. We're going to need an inside linebacker. This is another one. You could look in the draft for this, and you could find relatively good value later on in the draft for it. This is a good list. And like I said, I mean, there's going to be small things that everybody would change probably. Oh, I wouldn't say we necessarily need that or this. This is a good list. I don't know much. I'm not an expert on this stuff, but I do know enough about it to know that what our needs are. And I don't miss football games. I watch every Dolphins game 3 or 4 times each. I study it, and this is our needs. If our front office can have this list, please take a picture, send it to the front office guys, anybody who knows them. If they have this list, then we're going to be okay. But this needs to be the blueprint for how we operate this offseason. We need to go for this. Chris Greer, he's got to do this. That's the needs. That's what we have, ladies and gentlemen. That's what we need in order to succeed or do better this year. I think we can take care of almost all the needs on that list. And I think we can do it efficiently. Like I said, the salary cap isn't as bad as everybody's making it out to be. It's something that we can work with, and we can do this. A couple important notes here. February 24th, that's the NFL Scouting Combine. Oh man, if you guys are fans of the draft, you need to watch this. This will give you a base and an idea of what to look for in the draft. It's not like the end all for performance, but it's good to watch. It definitely gives you an idea of some of these players. You get a lot of good information, and it gives you a direction for the draft. So the Scouting Combine, it starts the 24th of February. March 12th, that's when things start happening. Now, there's going to be things happening before then. Here and there, there's going to be some stuff going on. But March 12th is the beginning of the new league year. And that's also when free agency begins. So on that date, March 12th, that's when you really start looking for things to start happening. Shortly after all that, you're going to have the draft coming up after that in April. Things will start happening pretty quick. And then during June to July, we'll have that 1 month of absolutely nothing going on. And then things really start picking up again. So we're getting into a point where we're going to start having some action. So Dolphins fans, stay alive. Stay on things and keep up with what's going on, because we'll have some things happen here up to the next month. But March 12th, that's when things really start happening across the league. So be aware, be patient. And stick with me here. We do have the Super Bowl coming up, and I'm sure, as I implied with my intro to this video, I don't give a crap about this Super Bowl. I mean, I'd like to see the Eagles win it just because of Saquon Barkley. I think the Eagles coach is a total douchebag. I don't really like him very much. I don't really care for much players on the Eagles, but I do like Saquon Barkley. And if anything, I'll be rooting for Saquon to get a Super Bowl ring in this game. I do not want the Chiefs to win. The Chiefs are probably going to win. It's what it is. I mean, how can you beat, 11 players on the field and 6 referees? How are you going to do that? It's impossible. I don't think the Chiefs are going to lose. I think they're going to win their 3rd straight Super Bowl. And then we'll hear nothing about how awesome the Chiefs are from everybody and their mother in media and on TV for a long time. Eagles, if you hear this, please do something about this. I don't care what you do. Beat the crap out of them. That's what I want. That's what I would love to see. Tell you what, if it ends up being an Eagles blowout, I will be so happy. But I don't think it's going to happen. I do think the Chiefs are going to win that game, and I think it's going to be a final score of 37-27. That's what I'm calling for the game. I think that the Chiefs are going to win, and I think they're going to win by 10 points. I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong. Thank you for watching the video. I appreciate it. That's all I've got for now. I'll have more coming up as we go, and I'll definitely do some stuff for the Super Bowl as we get closer to it at the end of the week here. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it. Make sure you tell your friends and family about me. Throw a like, subscribe, comment. That stuff helps. And until the next video, stay hopeful. Fins up.